We're coming to you from the Tokai offices of Sandparks, where in the background you can still see some smouldering from that fire that raged since Friday. And today the weather is looking much better suited for firefighting efforts. It did drizzle a little bit earlier. It's much cooler. There's cloud cover. But let's hear from Sandparks themselves what the situation is at the moment. We're speaking to Megan Taplin, who's the manager of Table Mountain National Park. Megan, thank you very much for your time. You must all be exhausted. What does it look like at the moment?
Right, well, we did have a whole lot of firefighters, about 220 firefighters on the ground through the night. There were some flare-ups that happened above Boys Drive in the lakeside area, as well as on the Chapman's Peak side. The fire line at Boys Drive has been largely contained this morning. We did bring the helicopters in and they were able to bomb it this morning. But as you can see now behind us, there's a lot of low smoke and mist, cloud cover that's here, which is hampering the efforts of the helicopters. There are 4 helicopters that are on standby, but we're waiting for conditions to clear up a bit for them to come in again. Meanwhile, we have the ground firefighters. We're sending most of them up towards Constantiaberg here behind us to secure all the fire lines there or contain the fire lines there. There's not active fires burning at the moment, more smouldering areas. And then also on the Hout Bay side, where the fire came down from Chapman's Peak or from the other side of Constantiaberg down towards Hout Bay. We're busy assessing that area to see where we can take ground crews in until the cloud cover and mist lifts, that we can send the helicopters in again.
So although it might look good to the naked eye and the untrained eye like myself, this fire is by no means contained.
Definitely not, but with fires of this nature, it has spread over quite a wide area. We think about 2,800 hectares has burned so far, and there we have many days of mopping up even once the fire is contained, because there are a lot of smouldering logs and stumps that can keep heat, and depending on what happens with the wind, when wind direction changes or wind picks up, it can cause flare-ups that we need to attend to.
On your side, were there any injuries? Was there any loss of property, anything of that nature for Sandparks?
We did have the silver mine area of the Table Mountain National Park affected, particularly on Sunday. We had contained the fire quite well on Saturday, and then on Sunday morning we had a big wind shift and the wind increased greatly, and that caused the fire to go quite quickly through the silver mine area. So the ablutions at the silver mine dam have been destroyed, as well as a lot of the boardwalks in the areas and signage. So there'll be a lot of work that needs to be done, putting back the signs and the boardwalks to make the hiking trails there and the facility safe again for visitors. And then there were also a number of people's cars that were left in the parking lot who'd gone hiking that were affected. But other than that, it's really just in the other areas of the park, it's probably just been signage that's affected, nothing major apart from the silver mine area. There was one firefighter who sustained injuries and taken to hospital, but it wasn't serious.
And then talk to us about, we speak about vegetation, but it's mostly Fynbos. And just explain to people, Fynbos needs to burn.
Yes. So Fynbos is a fire-adapted and fire-dependent vegetation, which means that depending on the type of Fynbos, it needs fire every so many years. Some types of Fynbos need fire once every 10 years, others 15 years, 12 years, it all depends on the type. And they need that fire to stimulate certain types of plants or species of plants. Some actually need the smoke for germination, others need their seeds to be burnt and for them to come up again. So if there's fire that's kept out of the area, then it means that certain species, for example proteas, might not be prevalent in that vegetation. So it is good for Fynbos to burn every so often, and it will recover. Obviously we need some of the winter rains to help that along, but it really is adapted to that. And when we come to the fauna, the animals, most of the animals are fairly mobile and can move away from fire unless it's going extremely quickly. Things like antelope, small mammals, baboons and wildcats, they can all move out of the areas safely, but it is normally the reptiles, such as the slower moving things like tortoises, chameleons. They sometimes do get caught by the fire. We do have animal welfare organizations assisting us to look for any injured animals that need to be rehabilitated, or just assessing how many animals have died.
And then lastly, there was talk that these fires might have been started maliciously. Can you confirm that? Do you know more at this stage about that?
We've had a preliminary investigation which does point towards that it was malicious intent or intentionally started. That occurred in the Tokai area near to us on Friday evening. But we obviously need time to conclude the investigation once the areas are all safe again for us to move back into and confirm certain things, and then we will have more details about what the potential cause is.
That was Megan Taplin speaking to us. She's, of course, the manager of Table Mountain National Park. And as she says there, waiting for conditions to clear up so they can send the choppers back out. So this fire by no means contained, which means there's still work that happens in the area. The appeal is once again for the public to stay away from areas where there's signs or postage that says, please don't enter, there's fire. The weather could change in an instant. The wind could blow a different direction and reignite those fires. So the situation remains quite dangerous. But right now, the big fire lines that we saw even still yesterday is not visible at the moment. But as you heard Megan Taplin saying there, it could reignite at any stage. So for now, people must please be cautious in this area. And we were with City of Cape Town fire officials as well, doing a reconnaissance of the area that was burning. So there's very much still a lot of activity within this greater area where the fire has been burning since Friday.